through the ACA. Again, Medicare recipients are not eligible to use the exchange. One of the things that all of my physician colleagues are extremely concerned about is the creation of something called IPAB, which is the Independent Payment Advisory Board. It's supposed to look at Medicare, how much Medicare pays for things, what Medicare deems as an effective service, and adjust the payments and the delivery of services to Medicare beneficiaries in a way to control Medicare growth. Obviously, physicians are somewhat anxious about what that means in terms of access. Okay. Very briefly, in closing, to stay sort of on my 30 minutes, there is a huge change in taxes. There are increases in taxes that you won't directly see, but could see as pass-throughs. There are increased taxes on drug companies, medical device manufacturers, health insurance companies. There is a 10% tax on indoor tanning services. The one that I think some in here will see is what's called the Cadillac tax on insurance. It kicks in 2018. It applies only to employer-sponsored plans. It is a 40% tax on premiums over $10,200 for an individual, or $27,500 for family coverage. In addition, there's the penalty for if an individual chooses not to buy insurance. There is the shared responsibility fee for employers who don't offer insurance. Medicare payroll tax went up by 0.9% from 1.45% to 2.35% for individuals with an adjusted gross income over $200,000 and for couples over $250,000. The Medicare payroll tax increased for small businesses with a taxable profit of greater than $250,000. And then there's the 3.8% tax on what was described as unearned income, which is, by definition, they have defined as interest, dividends, annuities, royalties, rents, and capital gains for individuals and married couples with incomes of $200,000 and $250,000 respective. Where that potentially impacts a lot of folks is with their homes. Home sales are in certain circumstances included. However, it excludes primary residences, homes owned for more than 5 years, and profits of less than $300,000 on home sales. We all are impacted because of an increase in the threshold for itemized deductions for unreimbursed medical expenses from 7.5% of AGI to 10% of AGI, as well as flexible spending accounts. They now max out at $2,500 per year, and products which previously have been included, such as over-the-counter drugs that you could pay for, you no longer can pay for. What I've done very briefly, and I'll close now, what I've done very briefly is just wander through some of the highlights of the Affordable Care Act. I hope they haven't been as confusing for you as they were for me as I tried to parse them into individual components. One of the challenges of this law is both its length and its complexity. I think there are going to be situations, I think, where we will not likely know exactly what this law does until it is fully implemented and we are working through the real life scenarios associated with its implementation. But thank you for the opportunity of just sharing a very, very brief overview of the Affordable Care Act with you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Williamson. Our second speaker is one of my partners and a very close personal friend of mine, Mr. Tracy Knowles. Tracy is a Dothan native with deep personal and family ties to the Wiregrass. He graduated from Northview High School in 1992. He received his BS degree in accounting from Alabama in 1996, Roll Tide, and his master's degree from Alabama also in 1997. In addition to being a certified public accountant, Tracy is a certified valuation analyst and is accredited in business valuations. He is a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, the Alabama Society of Certified Public Accountants, and the National Association of Certified Valuation Analysts. Tracy is also very active in his community as a board member for the Wiregrass Cultural Arts Center and the Dothan-Houston County Rotary Club. And like me, he now only can refer to his involvement in the Dothan area young professionals by saying past member. He is married to the former Sherry Benson of Ozark. Their daughter Benson and son Charlie don't even know what CPA is, but they do know he's a good dad. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tracy Knowles.
Good afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great time. I know that was exciting talk, and hopefully you guys are not ready to jump off a bridge somewhere after hearing that. When our partners and I were talking about who was going to present from our firm and we were collaborating, we had a lot of discussions, and as we came up with a group of speakers, you know, one, we get the state health officer to come in and speak to us, who's incredibly knowledgeable about this law. And then we bookended with a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. So in the middle, we were trying to figure out who would want to come out here and talk about taxes in between two pretty eloquent speakers. Well, you got me. So in the words of Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So please stick with me as we roll through this conversation and we work through these issues, okay? Now, just to give you guys a little bit of a visual, that's the starting point of it, okay? Now, I would have to ask some of you to come up here with a magnifying glass and actually read the pages on this book. So I showed that, and I want to make sure that you understand it, because this is what we're dealing with. And this is something that, you know, as we put this conversation together and this talk together, we wanted to make sure, and we keep amplifying the fact that this is a 101 class, okay? This is how we start. This is how we start getting more information on this. And our mission for you who are attending and going forward is to make sure we continue the conversation. We absolutely continue to talk about this, and we have continuing workshops as this big freight train starts rolling down the road, because it's picking up speed and it's coming fast, okay? So please understand that. And as part of that, on your table or in your chairs, you should have a blue folder that's got some information in it. And we're not going to go through that information, but I do want to reference it to you. It discusses some of the ideas we have going forward. It obviously thanks you all for being here, because we do appreciate your time. In addition, we've got some timelines in there of expected dates. Now, if you follow this plan at all, please know that when we talk about expected dates, you know, everything's changing pretty quick. So don't set these in stone and frame them on your desk, because there's going to be some changes coming, I'm certain. And we will do our very best to alert you of those. There's also a couple of letters in there that hopefully many of you have seen in your organizations. And if not, we want to let you know that those are requirements that have to be sent out at the beginning of next month. Take a look at those. We have some information posted on our website, which we'd love for you to come visit at cpaideas.com. Also, Blue Cross Blue Shield's got information on theirs, and there's various sources to have these out. So we want to make sure that you have that information. Okay? One other thing I want to mention is they took me, as you'll probably notice, they took me off of this mic because I like to move around. Now, we've got some great coffee and refreshments in the back, so at any point in time you feel like you want to go back there and get some, please do. The coffee might be advantageous as we roll through some of this tax law, and we try to do it in a way that doesn't completely bore you or scare you. So as we get going, I've elected to have a few PowerPoint slides up, and we're going to cue those up and get those slides rolling now.